All right. Hello and welcome to Run Good Lifestyle. And today we're switching it up a little bit. We're getting back to why I originally started doing these podcasts. And this is when I was on the road and I was trying to lead a healthier lifestyle and figure out if this would benefit me in my poker and in my everyday life. And I feel that it really did make some huge differences. There, I was doing a lot of uh, exercising, and wasn't consuming alcohol and eating whole foods, stuff like that. And when I dove a little deeper into some of the foods that I was eating, not only from like going out and eating out, but also cooking the foods. One thing that really caught my attention were the oils that I was using, and never really gave it too much thought until I dove a little deeper and came up with a lot of information that really was enlightening. And I want to share a little bit of that with you today. And basically, it's centered around the idea of seed oils. The canola oil, sunflower, soybean, those corn oil, those oils that are high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, and specifically omega 6, um, and I can't pronounce that. It's a linoleic acid of that's really high and not good for you. Obviously, our bodies need both, but the omega 3, the anti-inflammatory, um, um, that's what we really need. We need the omega 3 oils, and that's not what's found in most of your seed oils. And there's a lot of debate whether is it like the death oils, or those kind of things. I mean, I try not to be too big of an alarmist, but I think it's just like anything else. The more you use these type of oils, and if you're consuming them in the foods that you're buying from restaurants, from your fast foods, and even from your packaged processed foods, and then also coming home, and when you're cooking in these oils, I think that is where where my concern was. And I started looking for all alternatives. And first, before I get into that, let's discuss why these oils are so, I don't want to say bad for you, but not optimum. Let's put it that way. They're processed. They're processed food. They're high heat. They strip the oils down to look good and to perform well. And these high heat intensities, they make them unstable. And the oxidation that comes with those, and just like any of the other oils, they're subject to oxidation too. But when you're stripping these oils, with high heat and bleach and those type of things, they become extremely unstable, and the shelf life isn't, it just isn't very long. I don't know if you've ever gone down and just looked at the oils that are available at the drugstore, at the grocery store. They all look the same. You go down the aisle and they're all uniform, all the same exact color. And I think that should tell you something right there. And it's just I think we haven't been told the truth about these oils, and the processes they go through to make them basically more profitable. And you have to really look at the foods you're eating. I mean, obviously, all the fast foods, the packaged foods, the ultra processed foods, they're all going to contain these oils. And you know, again, we're not perfect species. We're going to be eating some of these things. My biggest thing that I try to do is just I try to cut it down, and I just try to be aware of what I'm eating. And, obviously if you can substitute some of these oils with, olive oil or extra virgin olive oil, um, butter, stuff that are more natural, that the ghee, some of those things, then, if you just cut a few of your stuff, yeah, and people always say, well, when I fry foods, well, obviously fried foods aren't really shouldn't be high on your list of things to be consuming anyway. But obviously I eat fried foods, and we're gonna eat uh, fried foods. And a lot of these oils, like the extra virgin olive oil, doesn't really have a high heat sustainability, so you can't really use that. But tallow, lard, stuff that our grandparents used to use, those types of things do have a high heat point, and they don't have the omega-6 high vulnerable issues that these canola oils, vegetable oils, these other oils that we're using. And obviously they're less expensive. I mean, they price them to the point where people, they're going that are cost, you know worried, and those type of things. You're going to buy the cheaper. A lot of people buy the cheapest thing they can, and don't really realize the consequences of that. And I don't know. Um, I don't know how you cut out 100% of these oils. I honestly don't think it's possible without just being super diligent, and worried about all the stuff that comes in these foods that we're eating. But if you can just be more diligent, and cut these down, even 5-10%, I think you'll notice a difference. I know that when I cut out these oils, when I was really serious about trying to be super diligent on what I was eating, what I was drinking, those kind of things, it did make a difference. And the energy level that I had, I was really basing all my information on my ability to play poker for long extended periods. And as I get older, I just realized I can't do that. So this is the journey that I went on to figure out what I can do to better that situation. And this was it. This was one of the things. And I noticed a huge difference, and I continue to notice a difference of my energy levels and the way I feel after I eat these foods. When obviously the type of food you're eating is way more important than the oils they're being cooked in. But that is, the oils are a small part of this. So I have a guide that I'm going to put on my um, it's going to be on my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to put this guide up after I finish this podcast, and it's going to show, if you want to substitute your canola oil for, if you're it'll actually say, you can say, I'm cooking a hamburger and I want to fry it, what's the best oil to do that in? Or I'm going to eat I don't know, a cheeseburger from somewhere, and what kind of oils or I should be concerned about. And the uh, the guide is really, it gives a lot of other information about what's available, and what you can do differently. And the biggest switch, I think a lot of people have really gone to using olive oils, and extra virgin olive oil obviously is the best for you, heart healthy, all the things that you're looking for in the oils. And what I have found is, even even the extra virgin olive oils are damaged. I mean, you can go down the aisle of any grocery store again, and there's just hundreds of different types of extra virgin olive oils, and a lot of those are frauds. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. And I've sort of uh, I put together some things that I guess if you were looking for extra virgin olive oil and you want to be sure that the extra virgin olive oil you're getting is true olive oil, not a blend, which I would say, honestly, I would say more than 60% of the olive oils you're seeing at the grocery store are some type of blend of olive oils and seed oils. And I think that we're obviously being deceived as a consumer by the verbiage. So some of the things you want to look at are single origin and estate bottled extra virgin olive oil. Single country, if it's ideal, but really hard to find. And where the olives were actually crushed and bottled, and all those all those things are great, but again, that information isn't really readily available. Some are, and obviously you're going to pay for those types of extremely well labeled, well put together products. You're going to pay for them, and that's just be prepared if that's what you're looking for. But some of the things that I try to stay away from when I'm looking at extra virgin olive oil is the product of Italy, product of Spain. Those type of things usually mean they're a blend of some lower quality oils and shipped around for processing, and really just doesn't, I just stay away from that. Another big thing to look for is the harvest date and the month of the year that the olives were picked. And I'm not talking about the best to buy date. That's basically useless when it comes to these oils. Extra virgin olive oil, essentially, it's a fresh fruit juice. I mean, it's like any other juice. I mean, it has shelf life that's not. It's not like well, it is. It's a juice. It's a type of juice. So the polyphenols degrade over time, and you want to aim for oils that had the olives harvested within the last 12 to 18 months. I mean, that's if you can find that information, again, that's great. If it again, but you really have to do some due diligence. And I actually purchased mine from a vendor. It's expensive, and I don't like to put out there or suggest some, because it is super expensive, and it's I try to eat very little anyway, but that because of the expense, I think that has cut down the oils that I use. Um, so again, back to what we're looking for: extra virgin, obviously, and not the stuff that says light, pure, or just generally try to I don't know, make it look like it's something that it's not. Because usually when they have, stuff that says light or pure or any of those type of things, it's been stripped of those omega 3 antioxidants that we want. And there are actually, you want a high quality virgin oil should have like an acidity level of like 0.3%. And that's probably, I don't even know if it's listed on the ones that I buy, but I just saw that, and I'm gonna check that out when I get off here. But that seems super. I mean, that just seems like a level that's. I know that 90, I would say maybe even more than 90% of the stuff you see in grocery stores aren't at that level. So look for that. acidity level, and that's another thing to look for. And how it's packaged. I mean, obviously, we see a lot of dark uh, packaged olive oils, and the people are trying to sell you that, but it is important. It should be dark green, black, and you need to block those EV lights out of there. And when you store your olive oil, I see a lot of people storing their olive oil by their stoves, and it's real sensitive to heat, both light and heat from your stove. So you want to store your olive oil in a cool, dark area, and that's I think that's common sense. But I do see a lot of um, a lot of people. I go to their house, I see it, I'm like, I want to say something, but I never do. But anyway, that's where it should be stored. And a lot of people say, well, I need to get my olive oil from Italy. Well, yeah, obviously that's great, and that's some of the best, obviously produced. But California, Australia, they have good olive oils, and actually California, I think it is. It's called the California Olive Oil Council, COOC. I believe it's a blue seal that has COOC on it, and it, uh, it's a well, it just it's a process that they have to go through. It's a pretty stringent quality and purity testing, and Australian olive oil has a similar thing. It's called AOA, Australian Olive Association, I think is what it stands for. And they also have a seal. I'm not sure of what their seal looks like. I forget, but I know that I've read about it. And those two, you can get really good olive oils from California, from Australia, and obviously from Italy. But those are going to be a little more expensive. But there are some good quality olive oils out there that you can get and feel comfortable that you're getting a high quality and no processed or fillers in your olive oil. So the other thing is obviously the taste. And I've had bad olive oil, and obviously olive oil can be rancid. It can taste waxy and almost a little metally. And really, the three ingredients that the taste that I look for, it's almost like the smell's almost like a fruity, I don't know about fruity, green grass, artichoke, almond notes, those type of thing, and a slightly bitterness when you taste it. A little pungent, peppery, just not an extreme amount, but it's not if it's got the smooth, no bitterness, no pungent, peppery kick. It's not really good olive oil or extra virgin olive oil. Um, so, little recap. If you can just cut out some of the canola oils, the seed oils that are bad for you, and just replace them with some of the other avocado. I can't even say it. Avocado oil is good at high heat. Extra virgin olive oil, obviously, for like your salads and stuff like that. Butter is good, but it has a very low heat point and burns very easily. So, there are substitutes for high heat, but again, the more you can cut the fried foods out, the better, obviously. But if you are going to have these, which I guess should speak for myself, I am going to have fried foods, and I want to do at least the best I can with being diligent and trying to cut out those type of things. I will. You can go to my YouTube channel, Run Good Lifestyle. I will put up that guide where you can put in what you're trying to prepare, and it'll give you the best olive or the best oils for preparation. And also I don't think there is a guide on that where you can actually put in foods that you're purchasing and see what types of seed oils are in those foods. It's pretty telling, and hopefully this sheds some light on it. If you have any other questions, I don't claim to be a anything but a person that has just done some due diligence on my own for myself. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a cardiologist, or I'm not anything special, but I believe in what I've found, and I'm just trying to shed some light for other people that are looking for similar lifestyle changes. And even though they're subtle, if you can do all the, little things like the little exercises in the morning that I do. I have a routine, I cut out little 10% of the oils. It's just like all these things compound. And if you can just every day, just try to make yourself a little bit better and treat your body better, it's just over time, it's going to be life changing for you. And it's really changed my life in a lot of ways. And people actually are coming up to me and asking me questions about these things now where I've never had that before. So, again, if you want any more information or if you have some specific questions, throw them in the chat box, and I'll be sure to try to get back to you and look at it. I had a lot of questions here I didn't really get to on the podcast. It's pretty cool, and I'm getting some uh, getting a lot of feedback. So I appreciate all the feedback, and I will definitely answer your questions when I get off here. Shoot you answers to your questions when I have a chance to digest it. And I don't want to give any advice that some things I just will not know. And if I don't know, I'll tell you. So thanks for listening. And we will be back later in the week with some more sports information on the college football and the NFL. And my next podcast, I believe, on the Run Good is, well, I'm going to leave that open because people on here have just sent some good feedback on what they would like to hear in the future. So I'm going to wait and see how that pans out. I have a couple things I want to talk about, but if there's anything specific you want to talk about, lifestyle changes or things that um, information that you would like to see, shoot me a comment, and I'll definitely try to do some research and give you the information. So, all right. Thanks for your time and thanks for listening. I have some a lot of comments here, good and bad. So I appreciate it. I am not a professional, and I love doing this stuff, and I love bringing this stuff to you. And I'll do my best to improve on my pace of talking and all the stuff that you're telling me about. So thanks again, and we will be back. And as always, try to be kind to one another, and it just takes a second to maybe stop and listen to somebody who is struggling. You never know what people are going through, and a simple acknowledgement of their presence sometimes even just makes them gives them hope, and that's something we all need, and doesn't hurt to take a moment and be kind. Thanks for listening, and hopefully we can come back with bigger and better stuff. Take care.